Hey, and welcome back. I'm back in the shop again today, and I was actually in last night and experienced a bit of a problem. Even I fail spectacularly sometimes. So, one of the things I was planning to do this week was do a repaint of the Millennium Falcon from Star Wars X-Wing Miniatures game. And I got to stripping it last night, and using the same brush cleaner restorer that I used on the A-Wing. And for the very first time, I had a reaction with this and the plastic in the Millennium Falcon. And it could be because I was working it pretty heavily and had it well immersed for quite a long time. And so it ended up really messing up the surface of the model, which is really disappointing. So I'm not going to be doing that this week. And also, if you're watching this and you're thinking about doing a repaint, I would think about Simple Green as a paint remover, or really, and honestly, having removed the paint and then some on that model. Maybe not removing the paint at all, but certainly, if you are going to do the brush cleaner method for stripping the paint, be very careful. Do it in steps, where you do some removal and then wash the remover off, and then let it sit, and then do a little bit more. It'll take a long time, but you're less likely to damage the plastic. So that was really disappointing. But I do have some client work to do, and as happens sometimes, groups of like items end up coming in. So one of my last videos was, of course, doing a HeroClix mini, and now I have 2 more HeroClix minis to do. This one, this is Loki from the recent Fear Itself set. And this was the month 1 prize if you played in the event. And so I'm going to be doing a repaint on this and hoping for the best on getting something out of the face. And I'll show you a close-up later, but well, it's not that bad. It's not as bad as I thought it was. And we'll see. The other one, Power Slave, and this is from the recent Iron Maiden set. I know, right? An Iron Maiden HeroClix set. So I'm going to be working on both of these probably back and forth at the same time. And then when these are done, I have a set of Earth Reborn miniatures to paint, and it's a sort of tactical miniatures board game that came out a year or 2 ago, and that's another dozen minis to paint. So, but that's what I have right now. I really like the weird. Is that supposed to be the Fenris wolf or something? Anyway, so my first thing here is get these guys off the bases and get the paint off. And since I am familiar with the plastic that these are made of, that shouldn't be an issue. So I'm going to get to that, and I'll be back when I'm ready to start painting, because I'm going to go ahead and get them primed up and everything. So that's it. I'll see you in a bit. Well, I guess we're going to get started with Loki here. I gave him a primer coat of black, and that was just Joe Sonia black, not any kind of primer. And if you watched my previous video, and you should, you'll know that I had experimented with the Vallejo airbrush primer, and found it to react poorly with the vinyl of the figure. So from this point on, I'm just going to be using acrylic paints on top of the figures. I still give it a primer coat. It gives you a nice even starting point for doing your paint. And in this case it was black. And in the case of Power Slave, same thing. But I'm going to focus on Loki right now. I like the sculpt. I think it's going to paint up pretty nice. Loki's face is pretty small. He's kind of more like a true 25mm mini, as opposed to being like a 28 or 30, as they sometimes can be. And the colors that I've started with here are Wog Flesh from the Citadel line, and then Lead Belcher from the same line, and I think those are going to be really good starting points for the Hell Beast. I don't know what it's called. I think it's called the Hell something. Anyway, so I'm going to focus on that for the time being. So my next steps here are going to be some washes. Now I'm using comic pages that I've found on the interwebs for source material on how to paint these guys. And the metal colors are dark and a little bit on the brownish side. So I am going to be washing this with Agrax Earthshade and perhaps a little Nuln Oil, and probably in that order. And then on the flesh, I haven't exactly decided, but I'm probably going to use Athonian Camo Shade before I start doing highlighting. And that's it for now. I'm not going to do Loki himself until I get more done on his mount. And so I'm going to go do that, and then I'll come back in a bit. Alright, so at this point, I've got the base colors on. I've got washes on those base colors, and I've gone back and layered the base colors back over again. Now, when I do that, when I do my first sort of layer step, I tend to do a thin, transparent mix of the underlying color. And I do that with my airbrush medium, which I like so much. That allows you to really put on a nice thin layer. It keeps the it keeps it so that you can see some of the underlying shade that you put on there, but it smooths it all out so it doesn't look kind of as blotchy as the shades can do on their own. So that's where I am so far. I really like how the metallic came out. It's pretty sweet, actually. And now at this point I'm going to need to highlight the greens and paint the face. He's got his scary little face. I got to do his claws. His claws are actually quite bright in the comic, and I probably won't make them quite so bright. And then it'll be time to move on to Loki, and so that'll be part 2 of this. In the meantime, I have actually gotten a little work done on Power Slave. And he's really, at this point, he's just a base coat of Rucksack Tan from P3 and various washes of Seraphim Sepia. And then I've been trying to go back and do some highlight work on it. But he's got a lot of work left to do, so I'm going to him when this needs to dry. And let me tell you, when it is, 80-90% humidity, those shades don't want to dry anytime, quickly. So I've been making copious use of my hair dryer and trying to speed up that process. So yeah, next step, claws and highlighting green, and so we'll see that when we get back. Alright, so basic highlighting done. I'm probably going to go back in and do a final highlight later on. Got the face painted. And I don't know if you noticed, but I also did his hands, front paws, I don't know what those are. In the comic are actually metallic, or at least, you know, like have a metallic armor over them. Kind of odd, but, well, there you go. And the claws, rear claws are done. And obviously I've started on Loki. Just got the green in and did the sort of base coat for the areas that are going to be gold. And I think before I do that, though, I think I'm going to paint the face. It's going to be kind of the hardest part of painting Loki, and I should probably get it out of the way. Unfortunately, this is one of the more sort of ill-defined sculpts. The Hellwolf is fine, but Loki's a little soft in terms of detail. So I'm going to go ahead and go in and take care of that. And I'll be back with you in a second. Okay, so I've kind of gotten it done. Did final highlighting on the Hellwolf. Loki's face got painted, as you can see. I did the best I could with the detail that was there, and I don't think it came out that bad. Obviously, it would be better if there was more there to work with, but hey, you know, you take what you can get. Finished up all of his clothing, and figuring out exactly what color I wanted to do the kind of gold elements of his costume and crown were kind of tricky. He actually, and in the comic, it's sort of portrayed in several different ways, which makes it tough to make a decision. But what I ended up going with was a base coat of Mornfang brown, and then a mixture of Mornfang and solid gold from P3, and then highlighting with that same solid gold, just straight up, well, not straight up, mixed with a little medium, so that it could maintain some transparency. But I like how it came out. I think the effect is quite good. It says Loki to me. I also had to, oops, I had to paint in, let's see if I can get this focused here. His chest symbol there. I'm not sure exactly what that's supposed to mean, if anything, but it's kind of like a little stylized V. And then I gave the whole thing a little flat coat. I'm still using Army Painter Matte, and let me tell you, in this humidity, it ain't easy. So, and then I got it back on the base, and so he's ready to go. Which means that I'm going to be moving on to Power Slave, but I'm not going to be doing that for this video. I think I'm going to end this here, even though it's probably end up being shorter than many of my others. But we will be looking at this in the near future, as well as my next project. But I think that's going to have to wait until next week. So we will talk to you later. And remember, if you like this video, please like this video. And if you haven't done it already, subscribe, because I do these videos all the time, and you might not want to miss one. So there you go. I'll talk to you later.